Morning, fellow zombies. Yes, I am not alive and awake. It's 9:36 in the morning, West Coast time, the August 15th, 2025. And yes, we are talking lawsuit cities on how to address the cops being, or actually law enforcement and military being put through D.C. to scare the crap out of people. And there's lawsuits trying to prevent any more or for having it happen in the first place. So, yes, the breaking news are coming out, and people are talking about it, and I have not listened a word. But I saw the headlines and I'm thinking to myself, took you long enough. But the other one still pisses me off that it's still crazy enough that I see this former NFL player who follows the Trump, who worships the Trump apparently, and he sees the only way to get through delinquent juveniles is to beat the shit out of them. And if they're going through school, they ought to be beaten in school. They think the only thing to deter kids is more pain. What are we doing? Sister Mary thing with the ruler? I know it was a joke against Catholicism, against Catholic schools. The old adage, whether it be real or not, is having the severe discipline in the schools where Catholic nuns would inflict pain upon the students who didn't listen, didn't obey, and they would have to have pain inflicted one way or another. Hence a rule, a wooden ruler, be whipped and produce pain on the wrist. Whenever it would not satisfy the nun, they would have to inflict more. But I'm sorry, child, but you have to be deserving of this. You have to have this. Because, child, you are so screwed up. But we will get you corrected under the sight of God. Now listen to what the hell I'm saying, or else I am going to inflict hell upon you. Whap, 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 whap. A long time ago, it may seem like it was funny. But for those who actually survived it, did they actually have working hands afterwards? I got a problem with it. I have a problem with this. If the if the punishment has if the let's see if the punishment had been modified for the past several decades, is that stigma still there, or is it still legitimate, or is it still real? Is there a reality check? Is it still incorporated into the learning structure that you must be punished because you're not learning it the right way? I know there are rules of ethics, of behavior in schools. You have rules to follow. And if it's academic, there should not be something to beat the shit out of you. If you are disrupting those rules, yes, there should be some kind of punishment. But do you really need to whack the kid upside the head with a paddle, or a baseball bat, or a wiffle bat, or even a ruler? How is that constituted as a positive learning environment? They don't want a positive learning environment. They want to enforce this. Yes, the rules need to be followed. But also rules can be changed and modified. They do not have to bring out the pain to have the students learn. But there are going to be punishments, and I know they've got to be a little bit more humane about it. Should we have the punishment put into prison systems? Because they've already got it right there. It's not just locking them up. It's getting it's getting people being beaten shit out of by the other prisoners who are got this hierarchy going on. It's not supposed to exist, but it exists. You're asking a con. Should we have more punishment in prisons? They're being punished enough as it is. They're treated as non-humans by guards and by other prisoners. Maybe in some aspects they have very limited positive things going on in their lives. Privileges, they call them. Are the kids supposed to now be humiliated and in pain all the time in getting privileges through schools? I mean, you screw up on the rule, okay. Say, I'm sorry, fine. Don't mean it, you do it again. You made a choice. You made a choice to see how far they're willing to go. Okay, suspend your ass. Well, it's vacation. What are they going to do? Schools know they can't suspend as much because we're talking about losing money. Every time there is a student missing, there is money missing in the school's coffers. The more amount of students they have in the school, the more money that school is supposed to be receiving, technically speaking, in the state of California. After that, shit, give me a break. Are you supposed to be back talking to the teachers? Not really. Trying to demonstrate communication skills is one thing. They would want a proper form and function for it. But is it that if the form and function is not taught properly, that they would have to be brought to the principal's or vice principal's office? Oh, whoever's going to be doing it, doing the punishment, is now the school's office and the offices of the staff now considered the dungeon of sorts where you get tortured? I don't get it. There's a lot of metaphors and manifestations on school punishment that I find reprehensible. Of course, I'm 60 years old. Well, I'm going to be next year anyway. And yes, I have an issue with it. Why not? I have an issue with everything. So I'm supposed to be fine with it? I'm supposed to be happy about it? I'm supposed to be what about it? Even I don't like it. I don't like what happened. I don't like it when I see students get their ass kicked by students. But, the hierarchy thing. It happens even in schools. Who's bullies and who are not. And who's going to have the power, who's not going to have the power. Teachers can only go so far. And if they can't control it, they can't control it. They'll have to get security forces to do so. But I know there comes the point where you have to decide they've got no other options but to beat the shit out of the kids. But because we have this law against abusing students in California, we've had it for decades. It keeps corporal punishment at bay. And therefore you've got the parents saying that, no, we need it. We need corporal punishment. We need to have our students beaten in school. It gives them character. It gives them discipline. Discipline? Okay, I'm going to take a baseball bat. Let's just say for an example, okay? I'm going to get a plastic bat. I had just applied and been working at this educational facility for several years. I have got myself a fair representation. I've got a fair persona. I am respected as a school official in this school. But I'm seeing the students mouthing off left and right and doing stuff that disapprove of. I'm seeing it happen more and more. And if the teachers cannot do anything about it, what's my job? Well, let's see. If in the state I'm working and living in says I can't do corporal punishment, I have to get creative. But let's just say Right then, that governor of that particular state had lifted the ban. Teachers can now beat the shit out of their kids. School principals can now go to corporal punishment. Okay, I'm seeing this one boy. He's trying to be the jokester of the place, who gets yelled at by the teacher and kind of flips him up, but he still wants to be the cool kid. And several other students are like, yeah, he's cool, he's cool. Now it becomes my job. Now it becomes my job to be the truant officer, to be the bad guy. I have to be the one that administers punishment. I don't like to because my particular character, number sitting here, also has family at home. How do I discipline them at home is one thing, but at school? And what happens if my kid's going to the same school I'm going to? They look at my kid as having preferential treatment because I'm the father, he's the kid, and his friend is mousing off. I know this kid. I know this person here. Deep down, he's not exactly that bad of a kid, but he just wants to prove himself. Okay, so I can have a talk with the kid. But he still wants to keep up this persona that he's cooler than everybody else. At my house, he can try pretending he's following the rules. That's one thing at my house. It's personal. It's in my own territory. But I'm a school employee now of this school, in this particular state, who the governor just took off the corporal punishment rule. He somehow made it null and void. It was passed by the people in the state. They couldn't stand corporal punishment to students back then. But did they change over the years? The new generation came up and said that they should have had the corporal punishment. So now, corporal punishment's been reversed. It's allowed in schools. In this example I'm producing here. Now I got an ethical dilemma here. I like this kid. I don't want to torture this kid. He's going to lose a friend. He's going to lose the friendship of my son. My son is going to have a problem with me. Because now I have become the authoritative asshole. But we had a former NFL player out there who says that we must save the juvenile delinquents. We must beat the crap out of them in school. So now I've got to damage my family and their creds and their reputation and whatever they are in. And let's just say that my family had been attending PTSA conferences all the time, been part of the community. Now I was going to get ostracized because I have to be put into position of being the bad guy, because now the state law has put me into the bad guy position. I am now the enforcer. So my first case is going to be my son's best friend, who had been at my house many times with my son. The scenario continues. So now I'm thinking at this point, what do I do? I've tried to talk to him personally, one-on-one with his family. I'm getting to know his family more and more. I should know his family more and more. They're having a hard time trying to control him. But now I'm going to have arguments with the family here. By the state that we're in right now is telling me that I am allowed to beat the crap out of your son, but I don't want to do that. But I have to be the bad guy. My job is paying rent. My job is paying bills. It gets more complicated. It gets more complicated for the guy who has to carry the rule and slaps people on the hand, or basically gets a device to beat the crap out of the kids, to enforce the little... what are we enforcing again? Pain? Violence? Oh yeah, that's right. It's a thing called discipline, wasn't it? Okay, we must be disciplined. We must discipline these kids. Okay. So according to the state I'm living in, working in, and being employed by, in a school, I have to be the guy inflicting the pain on people. But I get to know these kids. If I'm working at the school long enough, or the institution at this point over here, I'm getting to know these kids. I'm getting to know their parents. We become acquainted. I get to struggle with their problems. They get to struggle with mine, but they don't struggle with mine because I make sure my problem's out of it. But my problem is their problem coming up to me, and now it affects me as the guy who's got to do the enforcing. We had a guy named No Slack Trap. We never knew him personally as much in the high school I went to. But he was an enforcer of sorts. He will have the rules and followed. He had cooperation of local law authority. And he had eyes and ears all over the place. If there was going to be a fight, then whoever started the fight was going to be ending up in this guy's office. And I have yet to put into my scenario that I'm building up here of the first hit. The first hit. What am I going to do to make the point across? I have to make the point painful. We can suspend the kid. We can expel the kid. Either from the school or from the school district. They would have to move or find another school district to put their kid into. It'd be a long distance. It'd be harder for their family. And understanding the families of what they're going through, does that help or hinder what we're putting people through right now? How is the corporal punishment not just inflicted upon the student? How is it going to be afflicting the family, the school personnel, the community at large, the social nets out there? How is this punishment going to be targeted? And if it is going to be targeted, what are going to be the consequences? What's going to be the after effects of this damn thing? What will happen if I am put into that situation in the scenario that I'm building up on this fictional scenario of the person who's got to do the first blow? The kid would probably know this and probably say, I don't want to do this, but I'm forced to do this. Why? Because I've got all these reasons here. Yeah, but they're not valid. I have to be this way because nobody else will like me. We like you. You're forcing me in this kind of situation. Would it have been better if you had somebody else that didn't know me could do this? That makes it even harder because now I know it now. But I have to be the one to change this dynamic. If somebody else came into the office and said, I'll do it because you're no longer able to do it, and said, I wasn't liking the job in the first place. Who is it? I've been here for 10, 15, 20 some odd years in this school. I've gotten to know kids, their parents. It made it personal for me to be part of their lives, to try to help them go and grow. Yes, but we got delinquency going up and up. And you're not doing your job. My job was to educate. My job was to counsel. My job was to make sure that they grew up to be kids. They grew up to be adults. To be productive people. And now I am forced, overnight, thanks to politics, of putting corporal punishment back into the school. And I'm supposed to be able to deal with this shit? You guys put me in this kind of situation for counseling? Okay, fine, being a counselor, but then you switched the jobs on me overnight. And by the good graces of the lunatic governor we had in our particular state here, or whatever the hell it is, that our particular state, whatever the school district is called, that I have to be the one doing this shit. These kids know me and respect me. The family knows me and respects me, and I respect the living crap out of them. And I refuse to do this. Okay, you're done. You're gone. Just don't get a glowing recommendation from our school, our district, because you failed to do your job. What was my job? To educate the students? No. Your job is to give discipline. Not according to the job I got hired decades ago. No, because at this point, your job changed overnight. Yeah, and I had no say about it either. Well, your say is you're not going to do your job. I'm not going to knock against the kids. That's why I'm here, because I'm going to knock against the kids. I don't know them. I don't care. I'm an outsider. So therefore, you sit your ass down and we'll discuss this further. I want my parents. I want a lawyer. I want. No, you don't. This should only take a minute or two. And you are fired. Get out of here. Wait a second. I'm hired by this people. You can't do that to me. We'll see about that. I'm taking over your job for today. No, you're not. Yes, I am. I'll go to the principal. The principal just hired me today. Okay, then I have to go to the principal, see what the hell's going on. If the principal actually did fire my ass, then am I cleared of it? I still have a guilty conscience because I'm going to allow this kid to get beaten up. And this guy clearly enjoys being a sadist masochist. He loves giving up pain. It's the ones that are having issues with giving out the pain are the ones you really got to be watching out for, because now they got to struggle with the conflict. And the conflict is, how are they going to be perceived down the road? This is not just students. This damn thing's been going on since human history. It would take an impassionate person to deliver the blows to the victim, to enforce discipline. They have to be shut off from their emotions and their feelings and from everything else connected. They have to be robots. Because if they're not, it's going to destroy them each and every time and each and every night in their nightmares. We have had so many people say, we got to do this because it's for the kids. No, it's for our own damn egos. It's for our own damn egos we're doing this. We are talking about delinquent kids. We're not doing enough to get through their damn heads. But if we have to beat the shit out of them, we just made them the enemy. And there have been too many times I've seen that in my past that happens. Not just fictional accounts, but recorded historical. This is my beef about it. That being said,